I just got married, and our photographer slept through the entire reception, and half the family didn't show up so they could watch baseball instead. My wife Renata and I had been planning this wedding for 14 months. We picked the date specifically because nothing major was happening that weekend. No holidays, no conflicts, just a perfect Saturday in October for the most important day of our lives. We sent save the dates 8 months in advance. Everyone confirmed they were coming. The ceremony was beautiful. Renata walked down the aisle looking like an angel, while I tried not to ugly cry in front of everyone. We exchanged vows we'd written ourselves. Her grandmother blessed us with a prayer she'd translated from Portuguese. Everything was perfect until we got to the reception. I noticed the empty tables first. An entire section meant for my side of the family was completely vacant. I pulled out my phone and saw 17 text messages. My uncle wrote, "Sorry buddy, game 7 tonight, recording the wedding for later." My cousin sent, "Can't miss this one. Congrats though." My own brother texted, "DVR, the speech is for me. Game 7 of the World Series." 43 people from my side of the family had decided baseball was more important than watching me get married. Renata grabbed my hand. "We still have everyone who matters most," she whispered. I tried to believe her, but the empty chairs kept staring at me. Then I went looking for our photographer. We'd paid Garrett Holloway $4,000 because his portfolio was stunning. He'd shot weddings for local celebrities and had 5-star reviews everywhere. I found him in the vendor room behind the reception hall, passed out cold on a folding chair with his camera bag still zipped on the floor. Empty energy drink cans surrounded him like a shrine. I shook his shoulder, and he jolted awake, looking completely disoriented. "What time is it?" he mumbled. 8:30. The reception started at 6. His face went white. I just closed my eyes for a second during cocktail hour. He'd missed the grand entrance, the first dance, the father-daughter dance, the toasts, the cake cutting, and the bouquet toss. 2 hours of moments we could never recreate. Gone forever because this man decided to take a nap. I wanted to scream at him, but Renata appeared in the doorway. "We need you both in the main hall, now." Something in her voice told me to follow without questions. When we walked back into the reception, I froze. Every single guest had their phone out, but not in the annoying way people usually do at weddings. They were all pointed at us. Renata's maid of honor stepped forward with a laptop connected to the venue's projector. While someone was sleeping, she glared at Garrett. We were documenting. The slideshow started playing. Hundreds of photos and videos taken by guests throughout the entire reception. My best friend had captured our first dance from 3 different angles. Renata's little cousin had recorded her father's entire toast, tears and all. Someone's grandmother had somehow figured out slow-motion video and caught the exact moment cake frosting landed on my nose. Every moment Garrett missed had been preserved by people who actually cared about us. But that wasn't the real surprise. Renata's brother stepped forward, and for the family members who chose baseball over their own blood, we have a gift. He pulled up a live stream on the projector. My uncle's face filled the screen. He was at a sports bar with my cousin and my brother, all wearing team jerseys, completely unaware they were being filmed by someone at a nearby table. The person filming walked closer and tapped my uncle on the shoulder. He turned around and his face went pale. "Hey, Uncle Vince," Renata's brother said into his phone. "Wave hi to the wedding you skipped. The whole reception is watching." My uncle started stammering excuses while my brother tried to hide behind a menu. The entire room of wedding guests started booing and laughing. My cousin actually got up and left the bar out of embarrassment. Garrett tried to slip away during the commotion, but my father-in-law blocked the door. "You're not leaving until you refund every penny, and we discuss what you're going to do to make this right." Garrett ended up refunding us in full and paying for a professional photo session the following weekend. My uncle, cousin, and brother showed up to that session with apology gifts and couldn't look me in the eye. The photos from that session hang in our living room now. But my favorite picture from the actual wedding day is one Renata's grandmother took on her ancient flip phone. It's blurry and poorly lit, but it shows us laughing together while chaos exploded around us. That's marriage, I guess. I got a call that my mom had less than a day to live, and I needed to hurry if I wanted to see her one last time. And then a 1-in-1,000-year weather event grounded all flights, trains, or hope of a rental car for at least 24 hours. My phone rang at 6 a.m. on a Tuesday while I was getting ready for work in Denver. It was my sister Jolene, sobbing so hard I could barely understand her. "You need to come home right now. The doctor said Mom has maybe 18 hours. Her kidneys are shutting down, and they stopped dialysis." I dropped my coffee mug, and it shattered across the kitchen tile. Mom was in a hospital in Savannah, Georgia. That's 1,600 miles away. "I'm booking a flight right now," I said, already pulling up my laptop. But every airline showed the same thing. A massive ice storm had locked down the entire eastern half of the country. They were calling it a once-in-a-thousand-year weather event. Every flight canceled. Every train stopped. Rental car agencies had nothing because everyone was stranded. I called the airport directly. "Sir, nothing is flying east of the Mississippi for at least 24 hours, maybe longer. My mother is dying," I said, my voice cracking. "I'm sorry, sir. There's nothing we can do." I called Jolene back. "I can't get there. Everything is shut down." She went quiet for a long time. "Then you need to drive. That's 23 hours in perfect conditions, and there's an ice storm covering half the country. Then you better leave right now." I grabbed my keys and got in my car at 6:47 a.m. The first 6 hours were fine. I drove through Kansas at 90 miles an hour, barely stopping for gas. Jolene kept texting updates. "Mom asked for you. She's sleeping now. Doctors say she's stable for the moment." Then I hit Missouri, and the ice started. The highway turned into a skating rink. Cars were in ditches everywhere. I watched a semi-jackknife across 3 lanes and barely swerved around it. My hands were shaking on the wheel, but I kept driving. At hour 9, my car started making a grinding noise. I pulled into a gas station in some tiny town outside Nashville, and the mechanic shook his head. "Your transmission is going. You push this car another 100 miles and it dies on the highway. How long to fix it?" 2 days minimum. Parts have to ship. I stood in that parking lot in freezing rain and screamed at the sky like a crazy person while strangers stared. Then I called every cab company, every rideshare, every bus station within 50 miles. Nothing was running. The roads were too dangerous. I was sitting on the curb with my head in my hands when an old man in a beat-up pickup truck pulled in for gas. He had Tennessee plates and a faded military sticker on his bumper. I walked up to him. "Sir, my mother is dying in Savannah and my car just broke down. I know this sounds insane, but I will pay you anything to drive me as far east as you can." He looked at me for a long time. "How far is Savannah?" "About 7 hours from here. Get in." His name was Earl, and he was 72 years old. He drove through that ice storm like he'd been doing it his whole life. We barely spoke for the first hour. Then he said, "My wife died 4 years ago. Pancreatic cancer. I made it to the hospital with 11 minutes to spare. He looked at me. 11 minutes is all you need. Earl drove for 5 straight hours through conditions that had every other driver pulled over on the shoulder. At one point, we hit black ice, and the truck spun a full 360 degrees. Earl corrected it without flinching and kept driving. Jolene called at hour 16. She's asking for you again. She keeps saying your name. Tell her I'm coming. Tell her I'm almost there. The doctor said maybe 2 more hours. We were still 3 hours away. Earl looked at the clock, then at me. Hold on to something. He floored it. That old truck hit speeds I didn't think it was capable of. We blew through the Georgia border at 11 p.m. Earl took shortcuts through back roads like he had the entire map memorized. We pulled into the hospital parking lot at 11:47 p.m. I sprinted through the lobby, past the nurse's station, and burst into room 614. My mom was lying there, eyes closed, barely breathing. Jolene was holding her hand, crying silently. I grabbed her other hand and leaned close. Mom, I'm here. I made it. Her eyes fluttered open. She looked at me, and this tiny smile appeared. She squeezed my hand so softly, I almost didn't feel it. She whispered, I waited for you. She died 43 minutes later with both her children holding her hands. I walked outside at 1 a.m. to find Earl asleep in his truck in the parking lot. He'd waited the entire time. I opened the passenger door, and he woke up. Did you make it? 11 minutes to spare, I said. He smiled and nodded like that was exactly right.